Hello everyone, today I'll discuss basic statistics where standard deviation, standard error and confidence limits are there, because often students and people get confused that what these basic parameters indicate about a data set. So today first let's see standard deviation. Standard deviation is a measure of variation or dispersion between values in a set of data. It can be symbolized by a small sigma, and the expression to calculate standard deviation is root over of summation within bracket x minus mu ka whole square divided by n, where mu is the population mean. In case of sample size, its expression is root over of summation x minus x bar ka whole square divided by n minus 1, where x bar is the sample mean. And n is the sample size. So values of standard deviation indicates about the spread of data around population of mean. If we get small values of standard deviation, that means the data is clustered around mean of the population. And if we get large values of standard deviation, that means data is well spread around mean of the population. And it is a good data set to produce a normal distribution curve. Standard error. The expression to calculate standard error is s divided by root n, where s is the standard deviation of a sample, whereas n is the sample size. So standard error, it is the approximate standard deviation of a statistical sample. Population standard error measures the averages with a sample distribution which represents a population by using standard deviation. If a sample mean deviates from the actual population mean, so this deviation is the standard error of the mean. Standard error indicates us about the quality of a data analysis, means about the estimate, how good our estimates are, means how good our estimate or sample mean is of a population mean. Suppose here we have three different shapes of normal distribution curve which are varying in length and width, and these differences are produced on the basis of used data. Here I have used three data sets which are varying in number of observations. The small data set has produced a taller and narrower curve in comparison of other two data sets. When I increase this data set to 135, so curve has become little bit flatter and wider. When I increase this data set to about 500, so curve has become perfectly flatter and wider and giving a perfect shape of normal distribution curve. So here it is clear that there are two major factors which affect the shape of distribution curve. One is the sample size and second one is the population standard deviation, means the values of population standard deviation. So similarly, a large sample size decreases standard error. The values of sample mean have less variability or variation, therefore come close to mean of the population. If a large sample size is there, so up to a point creates a better approximation of the underlying population because it minimizes sampling error. Here I'll use one example because here I want to calculate mean of the means. For that I have picked the example of weights of sparrow birds. I have taken 5 sample efforts where in each effort 5 sparrows were measured for their weight by considering different sparrow birds. These are the weights of these 5 data sets. In the first data set, the weight of sparrows are varying from 24 minimum to 40 grams maximum. In second data set, it is varying from 22 grams minimum to 39 grams maximum. In the third data set, it is varying from 23 grams to minimum and up to 35 grams maximum. In the fourth, it is varying between 23 minimum to 37 maximum, and in the fifth sampling effort, the weight of sparrow birds is varying from minimum 20 grams to maximum 39 grams. So in the data, it is clear that values of weights of sparrows are varying in all these 5 sampling efforts. I have calculated average weight from each sampling effort, where the first sample data has produced 31.2 mean. In the data set 2, it is 30.4. In third data set, it is 28. In the fourth one, it is 32.2. And in the fifth one, it is 30.8. I have also calculated standard deviation from these given data sets, where standard deviations for first, second and fifth samples are calculated large or say larger, where it is varying from 7.25, which is followed by 7.73 and 7.87 in ascending order, whereas dataset 4 has produced 5.81 standard deviation, and third sample has produced a small standard deviation which is 3.61. This is small in comparison of other standard deviations are calculated from other different data sets of sparrow birds weights. So till here I have calculated means from these first sample efforts. Means this is our first calculation for the primary data set. But here, as I want to calculate mean of the means, I'll consider these means as one more sample, and here I'll calculate mean of the means. For this sample size where values are very close to each other, the mean is calculated 30.92 and its standard deviation is calculated 1.87. So now we will see how these values of mean and standard deviation can be shown on a normal distribution curve. So first I'll plot values of primary data set of 5 sampling efforts, where if I'll put these standard deviation values on the baseline of this graph, so you can see here that extreme corners of this graph are marked with 7. So these values can increase in the similar order, means up to 8, 9, 10, 11 and so on. Because here there is need of large standard deviation values on the baseline scale of this graph, as we have large standard deviation values. So if I want to plot standard deviation of first, second and fifth sampling effort, so these values will be plotted somewhere beyond these 7 values. Okay, if in case of fourth sampling effort, I'll plot the value of standard deviation, that will lie somewhere here. It is 5.81. yes, not bad. It is also showing well data spread around mean of the population. But in the third sampling effort, the standard deviation value is small in comparison of other values. It is 3.61. so it will lie somewhere here. So if this value is small, that means the values in a data set are very close to each other. Means data is somewhere clustered around mean of the population. So you can get the idea either from the tabular form or from the graphical representation. Both forms of data representation can clearly indicate the variability among the data set. Similarly, I'll try to plot these values of secondary sampling effort or a mean of the means on the normal distribution curve, where it is baseline scale marked with 1 to 3 standard deviations, because here I need a standard deviation value which to be plotted is 1.87. So it's 30.92 mean is there, 30.92, and its standard deviation is 1.87, will lie somewhere here. So it is clearly showing that there is less variability in the values of data set. It is also clear from the table, because values are means from the 1, 2 and 4 and 5, all these values are very close to each other, except the third column value, which is 28, but not very far from these given other values. But no doubt the closeness among values is existing there. That's why it has produced a very less standard deviation value. Therefore, the standard deviation, it quantifies the variable with a set of measurements, whereas a standard error quantifies the variations in the means from multiple sets of measurements. Confidence limits. It displays the probability that a population parameter fall between a set of values for a certain proportion of times. It measures the degree of uncertainty or certainty in a sampling method. They can take any number of probability limits, with the most common being a 95% or 99% confidence level. In simple words, confidence limits is a range of values bounded above and below the statistical mean that likely may contain an unknown population parameter. So in this regard, confidence limit refers to the percentage of probability or containing that the confidence limits would contain the true population parameter when we have drawn a random sample many times. Suppose here we have a table of confidence limits calculation. 3 columns are representing different type of information regarding confidence limits. In the first column there are probability levels, 68% probability level at the beginning, which is ending with 99.9999%. In the second column we have calculation of margin of errors, and in the third column it is representing population mean in combination of standard error. So as we know that sampling mean most likely follow the normal distribution, so in this case the standard deviation of the mean will be calculated using the given data information. So as we also know, the standard error expression is standard deviation of a sample and root over of, and using this expression we can calculate the standard error. For calculating confidence limits, we have this equation: a standard error multiplied by z-score. So in the first column you can see here we have z-score value 1.645, 1.960 or 2.576. These are the z-score, and Sx is the mean of the mean or standard error. So here percent levels in combination of z score by multiplied by standard error are showing margin of errors. In the second column 30.92 you can identify this is the mean of the means, which we have calculated in the last slide. To calculate margin of the error or confidence limit, we will follow these two given expressions. As we also know, the standard deviation value of the mean, that is 1.87, which is divided by sample size, which is √5. So when we will solve this equation, it will become 1.87 divided by 2.43. This is the root of 5, which will produce this value of 0.838. Similarly, we will calculate margin of errors for other given probability levels, but most commonly used one is 95% and 99% in R&D, because 68% here we become only 68% sure that population mean lies with one standard of the mean. Although 68% is rather a low level of confidence, so I want to surer for some high level of probability levels like 95% and 99%, which are very commonly used in research. So these values can be used to calculate standard errors, or say margin of error or confidence limits for all these given percent probability levels. The values within brackets are the percent of these margin of errors of the total mean value of the population. So for the 95% probability level it is 5.31%, and for 99% probability level it is 6.98%. So you can clearly observe here in the first column, as percent probability levels are increasing. In the third column, error bars sizes are increasing, and in the second column or middle column, the percent of margin of errors are increasing too. So in this way we can calculate margin of errors or confidence limits for all these given percent level of probabilities. If we are interested to calculate confidence limits for proportion, so this is also possible, but for that first, as usual, we need to calculate standard error of the proportion, which can be calculated using this given expression. Proportion 1 minus p divided by n minus 1, and from this arrow both samples I'll take population size. Suppose it was 154, and of which males were 77, means 0.5 proportion of this total sample size, and females 0.5. So I'll use this proportion here. (0.5) 1 minus 0.5 divided by n minus 1, which is 154. So it will become 153. After solving this expression, it will produce a value of 0.0 0.1633, 0.0404. Okay, now we will put these values for confidence limits calculation. 0.5 plus minus z-score value is 1.96 for 95%. Probability level multiply by standard error, which is 0.0404. So in this way it will produce upper and lower limits of this May's proportion, which will be calculated to 0.5792. This is the upper limit, and 0.4208. This is lower limit. So it's very easy to calculate confidence limits for even proportions. So I hope this video will help you out in understanding that what these three parameters indicate about a data set, and then you can easily evaluate any data analysis. Thank you.